The second semester of my studies is coming to an end, and that means work. Apart from a few tests coming up, I mainly need to hand in projects in various courses, one of which is called Staged Photography. In this course, we students were introduced to the concept of staged photography. The kind of photography which you don't go out to find, but instead you take a seat and think of a concept and how that concept should visually translate into photography. Having gone through that thought process, you create an image in your mind and then you shoot it. After the introduction, it was our job to learn by doing, and now at the end of the semester we have to hand in our own staged photography project. In this video, I'm showing you the process of creating my staged photography project called Just Wear a Mask. It was sometime in the middle of April that I had to think of a concept for my staged photography project and send my proposal to the professor. I gathered some of my ideas I had previously which could fit this project, and also I came up with one new idea. I sent a total of 3 ideas to the professor. I also attached a little explanation to the email about which of the 3 ideas I personally favor. The concept I thought was the best to execute is one of me wearing masks. My idea was to shoot a series of self-portraits of me wearing a mask made of some atypical material. The idea was inspired by, well, the pandemic of course, and some of the rather abstract methods of masking I had seen either in public or online. I was thinking of materials such as newspaper or toilet paper. A few days later, I received an answer in which the professor gave me the okay to shoot this project for the course. So with his approval, I was highly motivated to start shooting, and it didn't take long until I made a plan for my project and started the production. Today is the 9th of May and I have finally started to work on the practical accessories for the photography project. I've made my first mask. I haven't even decided on all the materials I want to use for masks yet, but 2 materials which I want to make a mask out of today. The first is tape and the other is newspaper, which I'm going to start with in a few minutes. So yeah, I made my tape mask, check it out. This is what it's looking like at the moment. It looks a little crappy. I've still got a few changes to make, it's still sliding around, but I think for the photography it should be okay. I want to stick these in a little more. I don't really know how to do it yet. And it slides around a lot and I can't breathe inside it, so I can't wear it too long anyway. Yeah. So I think it's gonna serve alright as the photography prop, but yeah, it still needs a little perfecting. But more or less, it's done. So that was the first mask I made. Don't worry, the rest of the masks are going to look better than that one. It was my first mask, and that is clearly visible. My plan for the self-portraits was to create a mask and a backdrop of each material, so that I'm always sitting in front of the same material my mask is made of. On that day, however, I didn't have enough tape for my tape backdrop yet, so I moved on to the next mask without shooting the tape mask. The next mask to create was the newspaper mask. I'm done, I think, with the newspaper mask. So this is what it's looking like at the moment. I'm not 100% satisfied with it, but it's okay. But also this, when I'm shooting, I think I'm gonna need some tape or something on the side because it keeps going off of my face on this side and it just looks a little weird. So for the photo, I'll probably put some tape on my face here and then stick the mask onto my face or so. So this is what it looks like. It's definitely easier to breathe with this mask than with the tape mask I did earlier. But yeah, as you can see here and here, it's going off the side, so I think I'm going to tape it down onto my face. Progress is being made. I think the first set is more or less finished. This is what it's looking like at the moment. Here is the tripod, and the camera will be looking like this, that way, and probably at about 50mm or somewhere around there, with all those newspapers in the background. I just tested out the framing a few minutes ago, and next I'm gonna do the test shoot and see if I'm happy with the first results. If not, I'll fix whatever needs to be fixed and do it again, but I'm optimistic. I think it could be ready as it is now already. And that was indeed the case. I checked my composition and framing again, and I didn't see anything I wanted to change, so I decided to shoot. I sat on a wooden stool in front of my backdrop. I had connected my phone to the camera's Wi-Fi to remote control it, and then I just sat there for a while, trying out all sorts of different poses. I think I got it. Oh. Ah. So yeah, this is the result for the mask coming off of my face. I put tape in the inside of the mask to stick it to my face. It worked alright, I think. I just got the shots. I got a lot of shots because I was never sure if I'm happy with my modeling. But I think I've got about 50 shots or so now, so that should be enough, and I shall start editing and see what the result is and if I'm happy and if I have to redo it or if this is fine. I didn't redo it. I was pretty satisfied with the raws, and so on the same day I made my pre-selection and edited them. I went for this warm edit with a light green tint to it, which I plan to keep throughout the whole series. So here are the first results of this project. A few days later, on the 14th of May, I continued to work on this project. Today I'm working on a new mask number 3. Today's mask is going to be made of a black rubbish bin. I've got 2 of those only, so I'll be using it quite sparingly because I need the same bags then to go on the wall as a backdrop, and only cut out the little part that I need to make my mask. So yeah, that's what we're doing today. Let's go. The shoot of the rubbish bag mask went fairly well. However, I still took quite some time to find poses for the self-portrait because, as you know, usually I'm behind the camera, not in front. I continued with the next material on my list, which was toilet paper. So, it's another day in this project. Today is mask number 4. Maybe you can see on the back already, I've made some markings. So this is marking number 1, this is number 2, because I set up the camera already how I'm going to shoot the photo, and the aspect ratio is going to be right here. So I know now that when I'm going to build a backdrop, I only need to make it from here to here at this height. And that's what we're gonna do now. By the way, check out the mask. You can see that I was trying to go for these layers, like the layered masks that we know. It looks a little weird when I wear it. So, I don't know, it looks a little bit like some armor, but made of toilet paper. This here, it looks a little weird, I find, but I don't know. A mask is a mask, so I suppose it'll work for the project. Let's build a backdrop. So, you can see I've already taken off my top so that I can now wear this, because this is my consistent standard outfit for this photo series, as I decided after the second photo and I noticed that I was wearing exactly the same. I thought it's quite fitting, so that's what we're doing. I'm gonna get the mask on and let's shoot the photo. So that was the shoot of the toilet paper mask, which I've teased in previous videos already. Like before, I ended up with a bunch of different photos and poses because I couldn't decide yet. I was planning to make my final selection at the very end of this project when I choose the photos to send to the professor. So that the professor can stay updated on the progress of the project, he gave us students a pre-deadline, the 19th of May, to send him 3 to 5 photos of the project, so that he can check what we're up to and whether the project is going in the right direction. So, after some emailing, exchanging thoughts and exchanging opinions, my professor and I came to the conclusion that I need to make some more photos. Because I sent him 3 photos, one classic portrait, one of me leaning towards the wall, so with both in focus, and then one photo of just the wall in focus with me out of focus. And he said it kinda seems like I couldn't decide which is the best, which maybe is a little true. So after I told him that I don't really want to leave out a photo because I quite like the layout of having 3 photos, he suggested to keep the one of the wall in focus and the one of me in focus, and the one with both in focus I can just scrap that for now, and instead I shall shoot some sort of, you could say, product photo. He called it still life of the mask itself, because he was saying that the details of the mask get a little lost in the portrait, especially in the one that's not in focus. So that's what we're doing now. I don't exactly know how I'm going to do it with the rubbish bag yet, because I've thrown the rubbish bags away already. I do still have all the masks though, so that's not going to be the problem. So what we're starting with is the backdrop that is still on the wall, which I haven't tidied up yet, so that's this mask. So I'm putting in here and setting up the photo, and then I'll just do the other 2. We'll see how it goes with the rubbish bags. I still need to think of something there. So, 2 masks are shot, the toilet paper mask and the newspaper mask I just finished. So next I need to do that rubbish bag mask, and as mentioned, I don't have those rubbish bags anymore. But I'm thinking of just putting something black in the background and just zoom into 75mm as I did with the others now, just to compress that background so that I don't need to make a huge backdrop. And I'll just find something black, and I hope it won't be too obvious. Let's try this. This is the setup I came up with for the rubbish bag mask. It's again attached to this pot. Yeah. It's anyway attached to that, and the background, I used my bed cover, which technically isn't black, it's dark blue. But I think in post-production in Lightroom I can just desaturate the blues and it should look decently similar to this material. I think it could work, and if not, I don't know, I think if I desaturate it, it'll look rather black, and that should be fine. So shooting those product photos was a little struggle, but I got it done. Here are the results. A step in the process which turned out to be a bit difficult was the editing. because I had to match these photos to the self-portraits, which I shot on a different day with different lighting conditions. I wanted the edits to fit seamlessly with the other two photos when shown in this layout, which I think worked out alright with the newspaper and the toilet paper mask, but as you can see, the photo of the rubbish bag mask, it clearly doesn't match the two portraits. But I figured that it wasn't the editing, instead it was exactly that what I was worrying could happen. The backdrop is very visibly a different material. The shine of the original bags is not at all apparent in the third photo, which is quite understandable considering the backdrop is a blanket, which just doesn't really have a shine at all. I didn't have an idea to fix this issue yet, so for now I just didn't think about it and moved on. And now that is done, it's time for the next mask. I made this mask a while back, made of tape, and I need to make the backdrop for it. That means just a whole backdrop made of tape, and I also need to fix this mask, or maybe I'll make a new one because this is falling apart. But that is content for the next episode coming next week. In next week's video, I'll be showing you the rest of the masks and backdrops I made and the final selection of photos I sent to the professor. I hope this behind the scenes video was fun to watch or in some way valuable to you. If so, leave a like, it helps me out and it helps the channel get a little bigger. I hope to see you again in the next video. Until then, goodbye.